What bad events have ultimately led to a better world today? The Black Death was terrible, but it ended up weakening feudalism and improving wages and living conditions for survivors. A big rock hitting Chicxulub. While devastating, some people argue that World War I and Roman II led to technological innovations like the development of radar, penicillin, and nuclear energy, international cooperation, for example the formation of the United Nations, and a global understanding of the importance of peace, democracy, and human rights. The plague. We would have no space program or understanding of our tiny little place in the universe without the threat of nuclear destruction forcing us to build rockets and massive surveillance and communications networks. Our space program is an industrial byproduct of rampant paranoia and fear. I would argue that America dropping the atomic bombs on Japan while unnecessary to win the war saved humanity from a nuclear WW3 between America and the Soviet Union. Atlantic slave trade led to Britain outlawing slavery and forcing everyone else to do the same. I know it still does happen, but not in the same way as before. Thalidomide, a medicine to help pregnant women with morning sickness, caused a ton of babies to be born with horrible birth defects around the world. Thankfully, the US was on the ball on the issue and the FDA studied the hell out of it. It became known as one of the biggest medical disasters in the 20th century. Fast forward a couple years, and it's being used as a surprisingly effective leprosy treatment, and is being studied as a cancer treatment as well. The sinking of the Titanic led to regulations that made sea travel significantly safer. Radium girls. Chernobyl disaster. With every nation in Europe, Asia wanting accurate information, it weakened the Soviet policy of controlling the media direction, the narrative. Ultimately, it was at a milestone in the fall of a horrific regime. The modern-day slavery and labor exploitation involved in the mining industry has led to me making this comment on my BlackBerry. Honestly, almost all of them. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Honestly, everything feels like a meme sometimes, but like even bad stuff can teach us lessons. Guess we just gotta roll with it, right? The Battle of Blair Mountain and basically any conflict between labor and cops. Labor suffers, but they usually win. This is controversial, but I believe that the nukes dropping on Japan that ended the war, although they were terrible, avoided a lot of deaths of soldiers and innocent people alike. Sherman's March to the Sea. The 14th century outbreak of the Black Death caused more people in Europe to question the church and feudal structures. This culminated in the Protestant Reformation, Counter-Reformation, the Scientific Revolution, and the Age of Enlightenment. The Black Death. It killed roughly 13 of all people in Europe at the time. Countries were so devastated that there weren't enough people to work the fields, which then led to famines. Due to there being so few people left alive to farm and feed all of Europe, peasants were able to secure more freedom, better wages, and all around more respect. This shift in the social and economic dynamics of Europe is argued by some to be main driving forces that led to the Renaissance. Therefore, one of the lasting effects of the Black Death are the many artistic wonders, scientific advancements, and economic prosperity of the European Renaissance.